Saseni. Okay. So I don't know if.
Is it okay? Saseni. Mimi naitwa Shujaa Rose Wachira Karani kutoka Kirinyaga, lakini kwetu nyumbani ni kule Kafonge, Kagumo. So all protocols observed. I've seen people that have been seeing on social media, including the youth. Na sasa nawaona face to face. So I'll make sure that I post selfies with you guys, so that whenever you talk, then I'll post a photo of me and you. Whenever you have a birthday, like Bev has a birthday, and I'm here to post her on my wall. So we all wish her. Remember, we don't go before wishing her and celebrating her birthday today. Okay, Bev, ata usemi gemi ewe. So anyway, the group we were with, that is the third group, we talked about social and mental challenges that we have, and we say that mental issues, I will remove this because I'm seeing like I can't see everyone. So the mental thing, the mental issues that we had, we say that these are psychosocial issues, and that they are with us as youth. And I would say that most of us are going through depression. That is what we mentioned in our group. Yet some of us cannot tell that we are depressed. So we say this is the mental and the social well-being of our status. And we also say that this has brought about suicidal cases in Kirinyaga. Last year, but 2019, we were rated to be the highest. Rather, suicidal cases were rated to be the highest in Kirinyaga among the youth, but we have since put them down, though it is still a challenge. We talked about drug interference among the youth being rampant too. So we have talked about the causes of depression. I'll go very fast through them. One, we talked about social media, and the youth say that sometimes they imagine how life is for their counterparts, and they tend to go down psychologically because they are not able to catch up. So there is also the cyberbullying and body shaming that is among, rather it is in the social media, and it is bringing depression. The other one was about alcoholism, the dysfunction of families, the dysfunction of families where parents are not okay, and the families, including the extended families, have issues. And the people who suffer most are the youth. We also talked about personality disorders that we also refer to as psychosocial disorders, including cognitive disorders. We talked about lack of mentorship programs, where we won't find this mentorship, especially when we graduate from schools to youthhood. We are in the villages, we hardly get some of these mentorship programs. We are happy for such a program that has brought about mentorship of people who've succeeded, and they have given us a way forward. So another challenge is love relationship. In fact, we even talked about rejection. We also talked about exposure to childhood trauma that we went through when we were children, including sexual abuse amongst children who have now grown to be youth. Then we also talked about poor governance that is making us have no jobs. We also talked about societal expectations, and I remember someone mentioning that sometimes the community will expect you to build for your mother or your father because a friend of yours did the same and you probably do not have a job. So we also talked about unmet expectations. We have expectations within ourselves, and when they're not met, then we have issues. we think we are at the worst of situations. So then we talked about change of economic status, where you may have, you probably had a job, you lose it, your parents had money and now the money is not there. So change of economic status. So recommendations. We came up with a list of recommendations. One is that we should form as youth support groups, where as youth we can probably organize depending on our status, the neighborhood and how we relate to each other, where we can form groups and probably be meeting, share out some of the challenges that we have and build each other. We summarized it to mean support groups. Then the youth were recommended to be real, so that you get to the reality. Who are you? So that you don't set your expectations so high, yet you do not have that capacity. Then we said the other one is speaking out, speak out our issues. Then the other one is inclusion, so that every time we have events like this one, and even in our communities, let's try to include as many youth as possible. Another recommendation is mentorship programs from also the government. That we tied it with the provision of counselors like me. That is my work, counseling. So we are we're charging the government to employ counselors, where the youth can walk in and out and seek counseling services from professional counselors who will observe ethics, like being non-judgmental. So that was combined with depression management classes. We also talked about empowerment, government to come up with youth empowerment programs, both the national government and county government. We also observed that there's need for a rehabilitation center of those who have abused drugs, so that they can go through the detox programs, and this can be facilitated by the government, and especially so the county government, since health is devolved. So we also talked about checking on each other. Please check on your friends. And then there's a point here that was brought up, psychophancy checking. So that don't be sycophants of a particular person. Open your mind and ensure that you have you operate from outside the box, where if this one doesn't work, then get to something else and see whether it works. You see, I finished before you came, John, so I can probably say that I caned you. Yeah, I'm a teacher. Let me say something, MC. Some people ask me why I'm always with the youth and wanting to support the youth throughout. I don't know if Connie is still around.
Yeah, she's next.
She's next. And she's studying education like me. When I was posted to Kirinyaga boys, those many years ago, over 20 years ago, we used to be posted as teachers before we graduated. When I was posted to Kirinyaga boys, the head teacher, the principal then, thought I was very young, and he asked me one question: have you gone through school? And I said, I've finished my university program, but I didn't have a certificate because I had not graduated. So that in itself, I was very tiny then, and therefore he didn't even look up again. He was reading a newspaper. He didn't look at me again, and he said, my boy, you cannot be able to handle my boys. And you know what? I didn't report to that school. The principal stopped me. And therefore, every time you see me with the youth, I want to encourage them, because every time they'll find more people disregarding them, more people not encouraging them, and I want to be that person. That I didn't see when I was posted to Kirinyaga Boys, and I thought I've come home. So later on, I was, of course, after graduation, I was posted to Kirinyaga Boys, and that is why people think I'm so much committed to Kirinyaga Boys.
Kirinyaga Boys.
Yes.
So that's when I was your student.
Yes.
I was very small.
Yes.
Lakini ile shule kulikuwa na student walikuwa na bibi na bwana na watoto. So visiting day,
yes.
Wale walikuwa wanakuja kuvisitiwa na bibi na watoto. Na sasa umekuja hapa, you are a young person.
Yes.
And I remember, you know, we used to call you a beautiful name in, you know.
They called me Miss Kenya.
Exactly. Siko nataka kuisema.
Yes. Until a parent came and was asking for that name, like it was my official name, and a parent was saying apparently he hadn't gotten the name correctly, so he was talking about Miss Kenya, and people wondered until anyway, and I missed it.
So thanks a lot
yes.
for being there for these youths.
Yes.
It has been a journey. I follow you, I watch you, I see what you do with young people, mental health, alcoholism,
yes.
Kina mama. So najua you're aspiring.
Yes.
Tuombe kura.
Just before I talk about that, our DJ, I know the government is here. Ama walienda? Niliona kama muko.
Yes.
Because I noted when the permanent presidential music commission came to Kirinyaga, I noted that the DJ to the president is a person living with disability. Isn't it? Yes. We observed that. So that is the DJ to the president.
Yeah.
So we're just requesting, the DJ is a man to the president.
Yeah.
So, Commissioner, we have a girl. Ama ni aje? Because kama ni PWD, achukue Jeddah, sindio? We have ours there. At least kale kasiana kakiwa State House huko, kakichezea president music, tutafurahia. At least even if we don't get anything else, let's get our DJ getting to the president. Yes. And then, okay, the other thing, because you said that I can just say it.
Yes.
And why not? So, I have worked for the government for a number of years, and I have reached that age where I'm feeling I've learned so much. A civil servant never talks, because that is the requirement. You don't say anything. But that does not mean that we don't know much. So I know so much. I know the point that was spoken by my sister Tuwiwa. The PWD are not getting any help in Kirinyaga. We know some parents are not able to go to their jobs because they have to have a 24/7 care of the children. Those of you who follow me on Facebook, they must have seen me with some of those parents. So these parents, if only they could get the cash, we call it the cash transfer, the social cash transfer, we would appreciate. Our grandmothers, our parents at home, those over 70, we know in other counties they are getting the 2,000 and some counties 4,000. So I'm feeling the 70 plus, we need to get them those cash transfer issues. And we know those names are with the chiefs, but there's no one to take them to the Minister of Finance. So those are some of the things I've observed. Besides, that the youth have a challenge. When we talk about money, we know there is youth fund, but the way it's being dispersed, we still have an issue. And of course, you know, something that is so close to my heart, mental health, and especially drugs. Every time I see a youth that I cannot be able to talk to or help because of addiction, I feel so bad. Most, those who don't know me, I think I've been to all prisons in Kenya just to talk to the people. And can I say this?
Yeah,
70% of our prisoners are youth, 35 years and below. Wow. So if you call that 70% and put them on one side, 80%, ya youth yara marejera ni ciana cia Gikuyu. Daria hagungo nigetha. Okay. But anyway, those are some of the things that have made me think I must quit civil service and I seek an elective post of a mother. When I was posted, I was not 23 years. I celebrated 23-year birthday. So from then, I know I became a mother, even to Kamoiro boys. Nanekio get to Gioe, Denina Wadu. If it all get to Genina Wadu officially. The more Jakati. My first degree is education. My second degree is master's in counseling psychology. My third degree is addiction prevention and treatment. Now my fourth degree, that is my PhD, is clinical psychology. Na maletwa de matano je tekelia juga. Maletwa makwa ne Shujaa because I've been awarded National Hero Award twice. Actually thrice, 2 by the president and 1 by the governor. I also have a presidential award, Order of the Grand Warrior.
Yeah, OGW.
My official names, those on the ID, Shujaa Rose Wachira Karani. Noni nyoga gila koma, gauga OGW. God bless you.
Asanteni sana.